Hi everyone, this is part 3 and hopefully this will be the final part of this survival kit, general survival kit, and getting people involved in outdoor skills and learning skills and having the passion to look after themselves, self-sufficiency. So coming back to the kit and the items in here, the compass. Now I know this is a very, a lot of people will say generally a very rubbish compass, and I tend to agree with you. However, don't just outwardly just throw it away, because I have used many compasses which have, the bigger the compass, the more easy it is to become faulty, because the needle is suspended, so when it comes into contact next to anything electronic, even this gives out a minute electronic interference pattern. Now you can see that actually the north should be pointing that way. Let me see if it comes. Okay, I think I've already damaged it. Well, that's already damaged. However, I'm going to use this as an example. This has even this. There you go. You could probably see it spinning. This gives out a small magnetic. So even something like a flashlight gives out a magnetic. Emits a magnetic radius. So you need to be careful, and you need to have a small button compass with you that you can use to check. Obviously, the quality of this is rubbish, but you can get very good quality ones this size. So definitely have a compass with you, a spare compass in here. Because one of my friends actually led an expedition, and I'm not going to mention what type of expedition, and I'm not going to mention his name, because I'm sure he's going to watch these videos. I'm actually making him watch them, and I'm going to embarrass him now. But don't worry, you know who you are. He led an expedition, and he used a Sunto compass. Now, no, correction, he used a silver Type 454 compass, and he didn't check the compass. And when he got into the field, he just used the compass, and all he had to do was walk 10 miles in one straight line in one direction at a given bearing to retrieve something. And he also had to take a couple of people with him. What had happened was the north, if the north pointed that way, and it was supposed to point that way, the north needle had actually flipped on its axis, and the compass wasn't actually damaged, but because the compass had been near a magnetic field, the north-south needle had flipped. Now, obviously, you can blame him, you can blame a host of things coming up to that, but, blaming doesn't achieve anything. Don't ever blame the person. There's always a list of things that go wrong, so account for it, accept it, and develop the situation, work the problem. Don't start blaming the person, okay? So, this friend of mine, he walked 10 miles in the opposite direction, and when he actually got to the point he needed to be, 10 miles, he realised what had happened. Because he'd got one bearing and he'd only checked it once or twice. It wasn't over a difficult terrain anyway. So then he had to walk 10 miles back, and then another 10 miles, and I mean, he learned his lesson, but it can happen. So don't start blaming people. I'm sure there's a lot of armchair experts and who have fantastic 20/20 hindsight vision. But when you're on the ground, when things go wrong, don't start blaming people. It's nobody's fault. It's happened. Work the problem and resolve it. And that type of development mentality is another skill that you need to learn, and you need to teach the people around you, teach your children, teach other members of the group. Don't get angry when things go wrong. Don't get frustrated. It's okay. I have a saying. A failed expedition is made up of small amount of good things. So you've actually made successful steps to get to where you are, but then something has gone drastically wrong. Whereas a successful expedition is made up of small groups of faults, and by what what I mean by that is you've managed to get to where you want to go, but it will never have been a perfect expedition. There will always have something that will have gone wrong that you have negotiated, and by luck and fortune, it's been negotiated properly, and you've managed to get to your destination or complete your goal. So always be mindful of that, and always be mindful of that, and never blame your equipment or blame yourself. Work the problem, have a development group mentality, and resolve the situation. And that's really what makes a good expedition. Now, this expedition, it doesn't have to be the type of expedition I used to go on with work and so on. I don't really like the word work, because I work with a lab. I'm an engineer and scientist. But my lab expeditions, I like that. I don't like the word work, because I love the stuff I do. So, your expedition could be a couple of miles from home and back. It'll give you a few new skills to learn. So, have that mentality. So coming back to here now, water tablets. Oasis make really good water tablets. I mean, I have Oasis water purification tablets in my survival kit. They make perfect water purification tablets. So these are very good quality. One thing I would like to recommend with this is, when you purify water, it tends to give you a funny taste. Something I like to add to this, and something I've recommended to my friends in the field on expeditions, a couple of them are in Antarctica at the moment. I've sent some of these out to them, and they really like them. This is a strawberry lemonade. See if it focuses, by this company, Nuun, Nuun, and I think it's an ambigram. No, this way, yeah, Nuun, yeah. So you can just put 2 of these tablets in there, and then once you purify the water, you can put 1 of these tablets into the water, and it will clean up the taste. Something else I would recommend is Tic Tac. I'm not sure. I've forgotten what I'm not sure if Tic Tac is still sold in America, but basically it's just a strawberry flavored tablet sweet, and that's also fantastic to put in here. You can just put in a couple of. Sorry, I'm just going to have my general bag behind me, and I'm just trying to take out the mo. This is what I'm talking about. These are Tic Tac strawberry flavoured Tic Tacs. So this is what I'm talking about. I don't know if this is still sold in America or not. Just going to hold up this to you and see if you can read the contents of that. Maybe from the contents you can tell if something similar is sold in your country or wherever you are in the world, maybe something is sold similar to this. And it's just a sweet. It's a strawberry flavoured tablet sweet. That's all it is. It doesn't contain any medicine or anything. It's just a sweet. So a couple of these in there would be perfect. A handle. Now this is something really perfect and something really important for if you need a container, or you can use these as you can actually bend this to absolutely use for anything. A couple of friends of mine who were in Mount Everest expedition, and they actually ended up using this and some where is it gone? The fishing kit bearing, the ball bearings from the weights from the fishing as ball bearings, because an item of their equipment had broken and they needed to replace it. Now, to get kit on that kind of expedition is pretty much sometimes impossible, so you have to make do. You have to have that development mentality. And the tool they always like carrying with them is this Susami knife work champ, and the thing that it has inside it is let me see if I can get hold of it, is the metal saw. So you can use the metal saw and metal file on your Swiss Army knife, and reshape this with some heat and reshape the balls in here, and you can use them as bearings, and you can use them as different items to fix things. Alternatively, the thing it's actually made for is to do a handle like this, but just be careful it doesn't topple over. But generally, but it could also topple over, because if this is hot and you have it like this at an angle and your hand touches this, you could just jerk and do that and lose all your water. So just be careful that you sort of you can actually use 2 fingers to just lift it like this. So if this is on the fire, I would highly recommend using 2 fingers, or something like, if you have where did I put it? If you have your maglite torch with you, you can actually just put your maglite torch in there and just lift it like this very slowly, very carefully, until it cools down, because you don't want to burn your fingers. And then that was the spare razor blade. Now a tin is also very good to have with you, because you can use it for a variety of things. You can use it to boil water. You can use it to hold essential medicine, because it does contain an O-ring on here. But be careful, make sure that O-ring is, if that O-ring degrades, just put some tape over it. And the tape that they give you was just the standard electrical tape that was around it, just a bit of brown or black tape with it. I would definitely change this to a tape called Polycon. Polycon is the tape that, when you see those quote-unquote comedy adverts that people tend to make, that you see people putting tape on an aeroplane skin, the skin of the aircraft. That isn't just normal duct tape. That tape is called Polycon. And there are different grades of Polycon, and basically that tape is so strong that it has actually been used on aircraft such as the A-10 Warthog, which is used by the US Air Force. Basically a fighting, killing machine. One of the Air Force A-10s was actually damaged in an encounter from surface to air bullets. And the Air Force technician on the ground simply just put Polycon over it, and the aircraft skin, he just filled it up and put Polycon over it, and the aircraft was actually ready to go. The aerodynamics of the aircraft came back, and the pilot went on to say that the pilot refueled, got the aircraft fixed on the ground, went back up, and he actually saved a lot of lives on the ground with that damaged aircraft. And there's a lot of people. I don't know the pilot, but I know the technician who fixed it, and I'm absolutely grateful to that technician, and I'm absolutely grateful to that pilot for what they did. And I'm sure there's a lot of people whom I'll never know, who were on the ground, whose lives were saved simply by that tape. So don't come under people's smug mockery or smug things. People always like to say they know better. They always like to bully people. Just ignore that and do your own research. Have that development group mentality. Learn how to use things. Learn how to change things to develop them into what your situation. Like I mentioned, the fishing kit was used to keep out the rain from my friend's hammock. The fishing kit bearings, the fishing kit balls, and the metal handle was actually used. They reshaped it. They actually had a survival kit. They actually just set fire to it. They set fire to some material from I think it was an item of clothing that they actually used as tinder, and they got a fire hot enough in one of their equipments to to reshape it, to metal work it. And this is all they used. They used this, obviously they didn't have the paracord on, they just used the metal file and the pliers on here to shape it, and it actually fixed their equipment. I think it was like a small trolley kind of thing, like a circular bipod or something. I can't remember what it was, but I know this is how they fixed it. So this was just a basic general introduction to the actually it's not really an introduction to the actual survival kit. It was an introduction to the development group, the development mentality, and how to learn skills and how to adapt to skills. And I wanted to start off with basics, and this played its part as a basic introduction to what I wanted to do. So this was just sort of a vessel to communicate my presentation. Now this has been part 3. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope I haven't rambled on too long. And I think I did miss out a couple of things, so I'll just quickly mention them. Some items of paper in here would be really nice, just to keep your plan, just to plan things to write on. It doesn't have to be right in the rain. A couple of these light sticks, mini light sticks. They are really helpful. Let me just quickly find a ruler. I've forgotten how big these are, so I'm just going to quickly measure them for you. These are about 1.5 inch. I hope that helps. Sorry, or in centimeters, they're about 3.8 centimeters. 3.8 centimeters, green or red. I personally prefer green, but go ahead and put one of each in if you like. And you can also get these tritium vials. Let me see if it works. Where is it? It might not work. Let me just try. Let me actually quickly get it out. These are perfect for night time as well. There you go. So these are also perfect, and once these run out, you can actually shine a UV light on them and they glow back up. They don't glow, they only glow when you shine a UV light on them, so you can use them as markers, or say kit markers for your kit. Okay, thank you very much for watching part 3. This is the end, and I'll see you later. Bye.